Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by and welcome to the NIO Inc. Second Quarter 2022 Earnings Conference Call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Please note today's conference call is being recorded. There will be a presentation followed by a question-and-answer session. If you wish to ask a question, you will need to press the star key followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. I would now like to hand the conference over to Ms. Eve Tong from Capital Markets. Please go ahead, Eve.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome to NIO's second quarter 2022 earnings conference call. The company's financial and operating results were published in the press release earlier today and are posted at the company's IR website. On today's call, we have Mr. William Li, Founder, Chairman of the Board, and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Stephen Feng, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Stanley Qu, Senior VP of Finance, and Ms. Jade Wei, VP of Capital Markets. Before we continue, please be kindly reminded that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding risks and uncertainties is included in certain filings of the company with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong Limited, and the Singapore Exchange Securities Trading Limited. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please also note that NIO's earnings press release and this conference call includes discussions of unaudited GAAP financial information as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to NIO's press release, which contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to comparable GAAP measures. With that, I will now turn the call over to our CEO, Mr. William Li. William, please go ahead.
大家好，非常感谢各位参加未来2022年第二季度的业绩沟通会议。
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining NIO's Q2 2022 earnings call.
2022年第二季度，蔚来共计交付了25059辆高端智能电动汽车，同比增长14.4%。7月和8月，蔚来分别交付了10052辆和10677辆新车，同比增长26.7%和81.6%。在此期间，公司的整车生产和交付受到了来自于疫情、极端天气、供应链等多方面的挑战。我们将与供应链合作伙伴密切合作，进一步加快车辆的生产和交付工作。
NIO delivered a total of 25,059 vehicles in Q2 2022, representing a 14.4% increase year over year. In July and August 2022, NIO delivered 10,052 and 10,677 vehicles respectively, marking increases of 26.7% and 81.6% year over year. During this period, the company's vehicle production and delivery were faced with challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic, extreme weather conditions, and supply chain uncertainties. We will work closely with our supply chain partners to further accelerate the production and delivery of our vehicles.
得益于高端电动汽车需求的持续增长和蔚来出色的产品和服务竞争力，随着基于 NT2 平台打造的 ET7、ES7 和 ET5 的陆续交付和爬产，以及 ES8、ES6、EC6 的2022款升级，我们相信整车交付量将在下半年迎来强劲增长。 我们预计2022年第3季度的总交付量为31000到33000辆。
Benefiting from the continued demand growth for premium electric vehicles and NIO's outstanding product and service competitiveness, we believe the vehicle deliveries will witness robust growth in the second half of 2022, with the delivery and production ramp-up of ET7, ES7, and ET5 based on the NT2 platform, and the upgraded 2022 ES8, ES6, and EC6. We expect the total delivery in the third quarter of 2022 to be between 31,000 to 33,000 units.
财务表现方面，尽管2季度电池成本大幅上涨，我们借助 ET7 的高汇车型的交付，以及部分调价后订单的贡献，结合销售政策的精细化的管理，整车毛利率达到 16.7%。
In terms of financial performance, despite the significant increase in battery costs in Q2, the vehicle gross margin reached 16.7%, contributed by the deliveries of ET7 with high specifications, part of the orders with adjusted prices, and refined management of sales policies.
接下来我跟大家交流一下公司研发和运营方面的一些重点工作。
Next, I would like to share some recent key highlights of our R&D and operations.
作为蔚来 NT2 平台的第一款产品 ，EB7 上市后，凭借其行业领先的软硬件平台与智能化体验，在中大型高端轿车市场展现出了极强的产品竞争力。
As NIO's first product based on the NT2 platform, the ET7 has demonstrated strong product competitiveness in the mid-large premium sedan segment, with its industry-leading software and hardware platforms and the smart digital experience.
6月15日，蔚来发布了 NT2 平台的首款大五座 SUV ES7。ES7 传承蔚来高性能基因，拥有极致的操控与安全表现，打造超越期待的舒适感和智能体验。此外 ，ES7 还可选装隐藏式电动脱钩、拖挂房车上路，提供全新户外体验。ES7 在8月份用户试驾开启后，得到了很好的市场反馈，已经于8月28日开启批量交付。
On June 15, NIO launched the ES7 over mid-large 5-seater SUV based on the NT2 platform. Inheriting NIO's high-performance DNA, the ES7 boasts ultimate driving, handling, and safety performance, creating comfort and intelligent experiences beyond expectations. In addition, ES7 offers an electric tow bar as an option, enabling a new outdoor experience with a towed touring caravan. Since the start of user test drive in August, the ES7 has been well received in the market and kicked off deliveries at scale starting from August 28.
我们也发布了搭载智能系统 ADA 的2022款 ES8、ES6 及 EC6， 感知硬件性能全面增强，算力全面提升，提供更丰富的数字座舱体验，强化了现有866车型的产品竞争力。
We have also launched the 2022 ES8, ES6, and EC6, fitted with the new digital system ADA, with comprehensively enhanced perception units and computing power. The three products offer richer digital cockpit experience and have strengthened their competitiveness in the market.
NT2 平台的中型智能电动轿跑 ET5 的量产工作也在全力推进中。ET5 的性能与配置相较发布时得到了进一步的优化与增强， ET5拥有纯粹且极具未来感的设计，极致的性能与出色的智能化体验，综合竞争力远超同级别车型。我们有信心 ET5 在中型高端轿车市场将成为最受欢迎的车型之一。ET5 将于9月9日正式开始锁单，首批车型将在9月30日交付用户。
The mass production preparation of the ET5, a mid-size smart electric sedan based on NT2, is also in full swing, while its performance and configurations have been further optimized and enhanced compared with those at the time of the product launch. With pure and progressive design, ultimate performance, and outstanding intelligent experience, the comprehensive competitiveness of the ET5 far surpasses the peers in the same segment. We're confident that the ET5 will become one of the most popular mid-size premium sedans. The production order confirmation of ET5 will start from September 9, and the first batch will be delivered to users on September 30.
智能系统方面，我们在8月份发布了基于 NT2 平台打造的 Bullion 1.1.0 版本，推出了超过60项功能新增及优化。在数字座舱和驾驶体验方面，此次更新推出更多驻车场景模式，丰富了座舱影音体验，并在悬架舒适性、车辆操控性方面进一步优化。自动辅助驾驶方面，我们也进一步升级了运动环境的模拟显示以及前向的主动安全功能，增强了用户的系统交互体验和行车安全。
With regards to digital systems, we released the Bullion 1.1.0 based on NT2 in August, with over 60 new features and optimizations. In terms of the digital cockpit and the driving experience, this update has introduced more modes under the parking scenario, diversified the audio and the video experience in the cabin, and further optimized the suspension comfort and the vehicle handling. In the aspect of the advanced driver assistance system, we have further upgraded the environment simulation display and automatic emergency braking, which has enhanced the interaction experience and the driving safety for the users.
生产方面，8月下旬 ，ET5 首批生产线预生产车辆在 Near Park 新桥智能电动汽车产业园区内的蔚来 F2 工厂正式下线，并将于本月正式投产。
As for production, we rolled the first batch of the ET5 pre-production vehicles off the production lines at New Factory 2 at New Park, and we plan to start the mass production this month.
销售和服务网络方面，我们现有395家蔚来中心和蔚来空间，覆盖全球149个城市，263家服务中心和交付中心，覆盖全球151个城市。
With regards to sales and service network, we now have 395 new houses and new spaces in 149 cities across the globe, and 263 new service centers and delivery centers, covering 151 cities in the world.
从换电网络方面，我们已在中国建成了5纵3横4大都市圈高速换电网络，累计布局1094座换电站，包含285座高速换电站，累计为用户提供超过1200万次换电服务。同时，我们已经累计部署1873座充电站，包含5341根超充桩和5466根目的地充电桩，接入第三方充电桩超56万根，提供一键加电服务超过86万次。未来致力于打造可充可换可升级的补能体系，让加电比加油更方便。为此，我们持续投入，以纵横中国的网络布局、都市圈的辐射式布局，为用户创造更便捷、更愉悦的出行体验。
In terms of the charging and swapping networks, we have built an expressway power swapping network covering 5 vertical and 3 horizontal expressways and 4 metropolitan areas in China. We have installed 1,094 power swap stations, including 285 situated by the expressways, and completed over 12 million battery swaps for our users. At the same time, we have deployed 1,873 power charger stations, including 5,341 power chargers and 5,466 destination chargers, and connected with more than 560,000 third-party chargers, offering over 860,000 times of a one-click for power services. NIO is dedicated to putting in place a power system with chargeable, swappable, and upgradable experiences to make the recharging experience better than refilling. To this end, we have been making continuous investments with a vertical and horizontal network across the country and a hub and spoke layout in the metropolitan areas. We aim to bring a more convenient and joyful travel experience for our users.
换电站不仅是高效补能设施，也是虚拟电厂。今年夏天，我们通过超过100座换电站，在不同城市参与了电网调峰响应，同时接近60%的换电站参与日常的错峰充电，提高股市用电的比例。未来换电站还将在更多区域开展电网响应和错峰充电的探索，助力节能减排。
Power swap stations are not only efficient recharging facilities, but also serve as virtual power plants. During this summer, we responded to power grid peak shaving in different cities, while over 100 stations. In the meantime, up to 60% of the stations are regularly involved in the off-peak charging by increasing the electricity consumption in off-peak hours. To support energy saving and emissions reduction, new power swap stations will continue to support power grid demand response and off-peak charging in more regions.
全球市场方面，8月份，蔚来 ET7 起航发运欧洲，并将于今年面向德国、荷兰、丹麦、瑞典、挪威用户开放预订和交付。
As for the global markets, with the NIO ET7 being shipped to Europe in August, the order placement and user delivery of our new products will take place in Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway this year.
8月28日，经过蔚来用户社区的积极参与，合肥被选为挪威2022的NIO Day 2022的主办城市。NIO Day 2022正式进入筹备执行阶段，期待届时和大家分享我们在产品和核心技术上的最新进展。
On August 28th, Hefei was chosen by our user community as the host city for NIO Day 2022, and the preparations for the event have been officially kicked off. We look forward to sharing with you our latest progress regarding our products and the core technologies at that time.
蔚来作为智能电动汽车行业的参与者，始终致力于积极践行社会责任，助力全球可持续发展。自创立之初，蔚来一直赞助支持中国大学生电动方程式，并在去年开启支持中国大学生无人驾驶方程式。今年8月，蔚来也正式成为德国大学生方程式的合作伙伴。我们期待通过对赛事的支持，助力全球汽车工业青年人才的培养。8月15日，蔚来还与联合国开发计划署 UNDP 正式达成合作。UNDP 作为 CleanPact 平台的共建方，将与蔚来在自然保护地的环境保护、青年创业者的生态环境保护、商业解决方案等方面开展深度合作。
As a player in the smart electric vehicle industry, NIO has been devoted to practicing corporate social responsibility and supporting global sustainable development. Since the very beginning of our establishment, NIO has been endorsing the Formula Student Electric China, and starting from last year, we began to endorse the Formula Student Autonomous China, FSAC. In August this year, NIO officially became a partner of Formula Student Germany. We would like to contribute to the development of young talents in the global automotive industry by supporting this event. On August 15, NIO officially entered into a partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. As a partner of the Clean Parks platform, the UNDP will conduct in-depth collaborations with NIO in areas such as the environmental protection of protected areas and the natural reserves, and supporting social entrepreneurship to encourage young innovators to explore business solutions to advance biodiversity conservation and ecological protection.
2022年下半年是未来多款新产品交付和爬产的关键时期，这对供应链、制造、质量、交付和服务等多方面都带来了巨大的挑战。我们将与内外部伙伴一起紧密合作，提升体系化效率，加速车辆的量产和交付工作，保障产品质量和服务体验。
The second half of 2022 will be a critical period for the delivery and production ramp-up of multiple new products of NIO, which will present huge pressure on the supply chain, production, delivery, and services. The team will work closely with our partners to improve system efficiency, accelerate the mass production and the delivery of our vehicles, and ensure high-quality product and service experience.
感谢大家的支持。现在 Steven 将为大家介绍2022年第二季度的财务业绩。有请 Steven。
As always, thank you for your support. With that, I will now turn the call over to Steven to provide the financial details for the second quarter. Over to you, Steven.
Thank you, William. I will now go over our key financial results, the second quarter of 2022. And to be mindful of the length of this call, I will reference to RMB only in my discussion today. I encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Our total revenues in the second quarter were 10.3 billion RMB, representing an increase of 21.8% year-over-year and 3.9% quarter-over-quarter. Our total revenues are made of two parts: vehicle sales and other sales. Vehicle sales in the second quarter were 9.6 billion RMB, representing an increase of 21% year-over-year and 3.5% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in vehicle sales year-over-year was mainly attributed to higher deliveries. The increase in vehicle sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly driven by higher average selling price. Other sales in the second quarter were 0.7 billion RMB, representing an increase of 34.6% year-over-year and 8.2% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in other sales year-over-year was mainly attributed to increased revenue derived from auto financing services, sales of service and energy packages, and sales of used car. The increase in other sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to the increased revenue derived from sales of used car and auto financing services. Gross margin in the second quarter of 2022 was 13.0%, compared with 18.6% in the second quarter of 2021 and 14.6% in the first quarter of 2022. The decrease of gross margin year-over-year was attributed to the decrease of vehicle margin and reduction in other sales margin resulting from expanded investment in power and service network. The decrease of gross margin quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to decrease of vehicle margin. More specifically, vehicle margin in the second quarter was 16.7%, compared with 20.3% in the second quarter of 2021 and 18.1% in the first quarter of 2022. The decrease of vehicle margin year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to increased battery cost per unit, which was partially offset by favorable changes in sales mix of the ET7. R&D expenses in the second quarter were 2.1 billion RMB, representing an increase of 143.2% year-over-year and 22% quarter-over-quarter. Increase in R&D expenses year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to increased personnel costs in research and development functions, as well as the incremental design and development costs for new products and technologies. G&A expenses in the second quarter were 2.3 billion RMB, representing an increase of 50.4% year-over-year and 13.3% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in SG&A expenses year-over-year was primarily due to the increase in personnel costs and costs related to sales and service network expansion. The increase in SG&A expenses quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to increase in personnel costs and increase in marketing and promotion expenses, including expenses related to launch of ES7. Loss from operations in the second quarter was 2.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 272.8% year-over-year and 30% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss in the second quarter was 2.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 369.6% year-over-year and 54.7% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss attributable to NIO's ordinary shareholders in the second quarter was 2.7 billion RMB, representing an increase of 316.4% year-over-year and 50.4% quarter-over-quarter. Our balance cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash and short-term investment was 54.4 billion RMB as of June 30th, 2022. Now, this concludes our prepared remarks. I will now turn the call over to the operator to proceed our Q&A session.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star two. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up your handset to ask a question. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. If you have additional questions, you may re-enter the queue. First question comes from Tim Hsiao from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
管理层你好，我是摩根士丹利的 Tim， 非常感谢接受我的提问。我这边2个问题想很快跟几位请教一下。就第一个问题呢是，如果依照我们3季度的一个量的指引零部件的短缺的影响其实比原先预期拖得更久，影响更大。那我们是否需要担心其他供给的瓶颈会接下来影响到 ES7 或是 ET5 4季度的一个出货？那同时有鉴于新一轮疫情的发展，我们怎么看待对于4季度的一个影响？那未来汽车目前是否有采取任何进一步的预防措施避免这样的情况呢发生在下半年的交付，那甚至于说明年866的一个大改款。那这是第一个问题。那第二个问题的话，也想请问一下管理层如何看待就是近日美国对华高端芯片出口的一个禁令明白短期可能对于整车企业的影响不大，但从中长期的一个角度思考的话未来汽车是否会加速和国产芯片厂在我们接下来的车型进一步深化的合作或者加速未来汽车在自动驾驶芯片4元的一个步调。So I've got 2 questions. The first one is about the component supply crunch. because the supply bottleneck continuously kept the sales upside of models like ET7. Should we be concerned about any potential hiccup to the productions of models like ES7 and ET5 in upcoming months? And in light of fresh round of a COVID outbreak in China, what has NIO team done so far to hedge the risk of potential disruption to the company's upcoming models, and even for next year's, we are going to have the NT 2.0 upgrade for EFA, ES6, and EC6. So what have we done to avoid this kind of risk to our production? The second question is about the chipset. Just want to learn that what's your take on the restriction to the export of high-end GPU from companies like NVIDIA and AMD to China? While near term, the impact to auto industry should be pretty limited, but would that accelerate NIO's plan of semiconductors, the localization in the upcoming models, or even speed up the in-house development of our own chips for functions like autonomous driving in the future? Thank you.
好的，谢谢 Tim。第一个问题，确实这个三季度的话，7月份、8月份我们确实遭遇了这个一些新的这样的一些疫情反复的影响啊。这样进入到9月份的话呢，中国这个多地的一些这个疫情的话呢，对供应链肯定是会有些影响的。但目前来看的话呢，经过3、4月份、3到5月份吧，这个上海疫情这样的一些经验教训，我想疫情对于汽车供应链的影响的话呢，相对来说的话呢，还是可控的啊。这个和这个2季度比的话，那当我们在7月份、8月份的话，包括9月份，确实受到了一些我们的这个一体压铸的这个良率的这样的一些影响，对我们的这个产出我们供应链的合作伙伴的产出没有达到预期对我们3季度的交付量是有一些影响的。但我们也采取了很多的措施，这个帮助这个我们合作伙伴去提升良率。我们派了这个几十个工程师加上很多的这个技能的这个工作的同事那去帮他们提升这个良率。那现在已经有一些这个显著的一些改善我们同时也引进了一些新的这样的一些供应链的合作伙伴。我们相信总体上来说的话呢，这个问题应该是已经初步得到解决。那我们认为在10月份应该能够得到比较根本的一个解决。所以综合来看吧，就是我们对于4季度的交付总体来说我们还是非常有信心的那所以从全年来讲的话我们对完成这个全年的一个交付目标我们还是非常有信心的当然也确实意味着我们4季度整个的这个供应链和生产的这个量这个压力也确实会比较大一些。你先翻译。
Thanks, Tim, for your question. Regarding the first question, in the third quarter, especially in terms of July and August, we have encountered some supply chain hiccups, and we believe the COVID-19 resurgence in some regions in China in September will also affect our supply chain to some extent. But based on our experience accumulated throughout the March and April shutdown experience in Shanghai, we believe that the COVID-19 impact is under control compared with that of the second quarter. Regarding the mega casting components, the yield rate is below our expectation, and this has affected the vehicle deliveries to our users. But we have already taken multiple measures to improve the yield rate of the mega casting components. For example, we have already sent over dozens of engineers to our suppliers to help them to improve the yield rate, and we have already witnessed some improvements. At the same time, we have also introduced some new partners for the mega casting components. We believe we have already resolved this issue to some extent at the preliminary stage, and we understand properly in October, we should be able to resolve this issue at once. Of course, we are very confident about our delivery in the fourth quarter, and we are confident to achieve our delivery targets for the whole year. Of course, there will be many challenges ahead of us, but we will try our best to achieve the target and improve our delivery performance in the fourth quarter.
那第二个问题就是最近美国对华的一些这个大算力芯片的这样的一些训练芯片的一些出口的这样的一些新的一些政策。我们认为近期呢，短期内呢，对我们的经营不会有实质性影响因为这里面整体来说并没有涉及到车用的这样的一些芯片当然这个 AI 方面的一些训练用途的芯片呢，我们现在已经形成的算力是可以支持下一阶段的 AD 的算法的训练需求的。当然我们也还和这个英伟达在进行合作，我们也希望密切关注这个动态包括我们的一些云服务商的一些合作积极评估这个长期的方案。那我们也注意到中国其实现在也有很多的这种训练芯片的这样的一些公司他们的产品已经都量产。我们当然也会积极的去评估各方面的这个可能的这个技术的解决方案包括和一些更多的芯片公司的这样的一些合作。总体来讲，我们不认为这样的一个近期的变化对公司的长期战略会有实质性的影响。
Regarding the U.S. chip ban related with the AI training chipsets, we believe that this will not have an impact on our business operations. Based on our estimations, our computing power is sufficient for our autonomous driving technology development in the aspect of the AI training for now, and we have been working very closely with our partner NVIDIA. At the same time, we have been keep monitoring the situation very closely. We understand there are also many AI training chipset companies in China who are working on the mass production of their chipsets. So we are evaluating different kind of technical solutions for this AI training chipsets, and we would like to work with different companies on this respect. Basically, we believe this is not going to affect our long-term strategy.
好的，谢谢威廉。
另外一点的话呢，我们也补充一下，我们也在核心的技术领域方面包括芯片方面我们是目标是建立一个全站自研的能力我们相信核心技术的研发投入不光只能增加我们应对这样的一些技术变化的这样的一个产业政策方面的一些风险，也能够长期提升我们的毛利率包括我们技术的竞争力。
Of course, we are building our core technology and the capabilities, including the chipsets. And we believe our target is to build the full stack in-house capabilities in all those key core technologies. We are building our capabilities, and we believe that this is going to help us to mitigate the political risks and the regulatory risks. At the same time, it can also help us to improve our technology powers and also our gross margin as well.
好，非常感谢威廉补充，谢谢。
The next question comes from Ming-Sun Lee from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
谢谢威廉还有管理层那我这边两个问题提问第一个问题呢是因为最近就是包括公司然后还有整个行业呢其实竞争也比较激烈所以说我们公司目前有没有最新的一个包括这个sales and marketing 还有这个 R&D 的一个指引这针对今年跟明年然后另外就是我们这个point of sales 的这个最新的 target 这是我的第一个问题 那第二个问题呢，最近的这个在这个成都车展，其实包括 ET5 跟 ET7都有非常好的feedback。那想了解就是说，因为现在整个行业的这个产品迭代的速度越来越快，然后包括还有新进的玩家，所以说我们怎么看待这个整个行业的竞争？那我们会不会这个更快的加速这个新产品的投放，包括明年的这个产品投放，威廉这边如果可以给一些指引的话，那最好。然后另外就是之前也看到这个媒体有报道，将来公司还有考虑会有第三个品牌。那目前公司有这样的想法？那我翻译一下的问题。What is your latest guidance in the SG&A and the R&D ratio, considering the more industry competition and also overall the slower sales for the industry? Do you have any new target for your point of sales? Second question, your ET5 and the ET7 have very good feedback during the Chengdu Auto Show, but currently there is more competition and product iteration in the industry. Will you speed up the new product launch? And also, could you give some guidance regarding your 2023 new model plan? And can you also share, do you have any plan for a third brand? Thank you.
好的，谢谢Min。第一个问题，我们这个当然我们这个确实看到这个行业有非常多的这样的一些新的这样的一些同行推出的很好的这样的一些产品，但总体上来讲，我们在这个费用方面、投入方面，我们还是按照自己的节奏在前进的啊。那包括这个 R&D 方面啊，那我们当然今年是加大投入的一年啊，这个我们在研发方面的投入，为了一个长期的一个竞争力啊，我们进行了非常大的投入。但 SG&A 的话呢，总体上来讲，占我们销售额的比例肯定是会持续下降的啊，这个肯定也是一个基本的一个规律。所以我们不太会因为外部的一个竞争去更改我们自己的一个战略和一个我们的一个节奏。所以总体上来讲，我们研发方面当然我们会持续投入，这个是我们既定的战略。SG&A 占整个销售额的比例，总体上来讲当然是会持续下降的啊，这个也是符合我们的一个发展的节奏的啊。先翻译一下第一个问题。
Thanks, Ming, for the question. Yes, in the industry, we have seen many companies launching good products in the market. But in terms of the investment, we would like to follow our own strategy and cadence. In terms of the R&D, of course, this is our long-term strategy. We would like to make decisive investment on R&D. This year, we have ramped up our R&D investment to improve our long-term competitiveness. And also for the SG&A as a percentage of the revenue, we believe the long-term trend is this is going down, and we don't expect to change our pace or our strategy just because of the competitions in the external environment. We would like to make sure we can focus and determine on our own strategy and pace.
那第二个问题就是 ET5 呢，我们近期在包括成都车展，这样的一些这个展览上面，我们这个进行了一些充分的展示啊。那媒体呢对外观内饰进行了更充分的一个报道。那我们看到 ET5 的热度是持续的在升高啊，那用户的期待是非常高的，所以我们相信 ET5 会成为一款非常受欢迎的一个产品。当然后续的话呢，我们这个明年的话，我们当然会有更多新车型的这个包括换代车型的一个发布啊。那我们现有的这个866的产品在明年当然都会切换到这个我们新的这个 NT2 的平台，这个都是我们计划中的事情。所以我们对于明年我们全系产品都切换到 NT2 平台以后，整个的市场的这个表现。我们还是非常有信心的。我们确实不管是在 ET7 还是在 ES7 还是在 ET5 上，我们看到我们在 NT2 的这样一个平台的这个技术的竞争力啊，我们是看到用户是非常非常的这个欢迎我们这样的一些创新。 当然具体的细节，这个我们再有一些时间去跟大家交流。但总体上来讲，我们明年会加快这个新产品投放的这个节奏。
For the ET5, we have already showcased the ET5 in different aspects in the Chengdu Auto Show and other exhibitions and auto shows as well. We have also received a wide range of media coverage for the ET5. So ET5 has attracted a lot of attention of the users, the public, and the media, and we have received very good reviews and feedback from the user as well. Next year, we plan to further launch more products based on the NT2 technology platforms, and we plan to upgrade our current ES8, ES6, and ES6 to the new technology platform 2.0. We believe with all of the products rolled over to the new technology platform 2.0, we will be very confident regarding our market performance at that time. Because if we look at the ET7, the ES7, and the ET5, we can see the comprehensive competitiveness of the NT2 technology platform. And we have launched many innovations that have been very much welcomed by our users. Of course, at this moment, I cannot share much details regarding the new product launch, and we would like to say that we are going to accelerate the ramp up of our new products based on the new technology platform.
第三个问题，我们一直是希望能够把我们的产品和技术能够让更多的人使用啊，但另外一方面，我们确实也要去注意不同的价格区间用户的需求啊，还有包括对品牌的这个认知啊，对品牌的需求是不太一样的，对产品和技术的需求也是不太一样的。我们在积极的思考啊，如何让更多的细分市场的用户能够享受到智能电动汽车最新的这样的一些技术的这样的一个好处吧。这个是我们会积极的进行这方面的规划。
Regarding the third question, of course, we would like to have more and more users to use our products and enjoy our technologies. But at the same time, we also need to pay attention to the users' needs and demands at different price range, and users of a different brand may have different needs regarding the products and the technologies. So for us, we would like to have more smart EV users to experience our products and enjoy the benefits of those core technologies, and we will make decisive planning regarding this.
好，谢谢您。
Our next question comes from Ben Wang from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
各位领导好，我有3个问题向各位请教一下。第一个呢，想问一下公司是否维持之前说的下半年10万台的一个销量目标？如果维持这个数字的话，也代表4季度要做到6万8千台左右。那么是否代表就是10月份就得到2万台？比如说11月份2万2， 12月份2万4到2万5，是否维持这个指引？这是第一个问题。第二个问题呢，想问一下就是订单，因为我们做了一些终端调研，发现呢 ES7 ET7 都要等3到4个月 ，ET5 就要等到明年了，很多时候。那么按现在销量的话来说，那么 ET7 是否就有1万5以上的订单 ？S7 也会有1万5以上，ET5 会超过5万台，想这么加起来的话就超过8万台订单了。想问问看这个预测是否合理哈？这是第二个问题。最后一个问题呢，关于毛利率，因为我们已经感觉到公司的2季度毛利率其实比原来的指引环比掉3到4要更好的。那么想问问看3季度的那个毛利率的方向是否是向上的？因为我们好像涨了2次价嘛，有些第2次涨价的话呢，应该在这个3季度得以体现，那么量也会更大，能否说呢这个3季度的毛利率至少回到1季度的水平？好，这是我3个问题，我翻译一下。My first question is about the full year volume guidance. Basically, you already previously guide that second half of this year, the volume guidance will be 100,000 units. If you considering your third quarter guidance, that means that in the last quarter, number 4 quarter, your volume will be roughly around 68,000 units. Is that true, or roughly say in October 20K, in November 22K, and December 24 to 25K? Is that the right way to think about your volume progress? That's number one question. And number two is about the order backlog. We actually do some dealer visit to call dealers. They told me that they got 3 to 4 months waiting list for all the new products, say ES7, ET7, and ET5. So can I assume you got a 15K order for the ES7, 15K for ET7, and roughly 50K for ET5. So together you got an 80K order backlog. That is the right way to think about the order backlog. That's the second question. And last one is about the margin outlook in the number 3 quarter. Basically, the second quarter guidance previously is that will be declined 3 to 4% Q&Q, but right now the margin seems to be better than your guidance, right? So what's your outlook for the number 3 quarter? You actually has been raising the price for 2 times, right, for the all products. Should the third quarter gross margin return to the level in the first quarter this year? Thank you.
好，谢谢王斌。第一个问题，我前面其实也讲到了，我们还是会力争完成我们这个年初的一个目标啊。但当然，这个意味着我们 Q4 的这个交付的压力和供应链的压力确实是非常大的。但我们在3季度，我们也在从各方面去进行了一些充分的准备啊。那4季度的话，因为我们有2个工厂开始去生产。那我们新桥的这个 F2 的工厂的话呢，从这个3季度吧，一直都在进行这个调试和这个大规模量产的一个准备啊，我们还是非常有信心的，因为它初期的工作会非常的这个单一，就是生产1T5啊，这整个工厂就是在生产1T5，所以它的生产的这个复杂性也会低很多，相对来说的话，所以总体上来讲，当然可以展望4季度，我们当毫无疑问，我们会克服困难去有创纪录的这样的一个交付的一个记录啊！我相信，我们每个月都会打破记录啊，这是毫无疑问的啊！这个压力很大，但是我们还是有信心的。第一个问题啊，翻译一下。
Thanks, Ding, for your question. Previously, I've also mentioned that we will try our best to meet the delivery target for this year. Of course, this means that the fourth quarter is going to witness a lot of pressure and challenges on our delivery and the supply. We have already started to make the preparations for the delivery starting from the third quarter. We believe starting from the fourth quarter, we're going to have the 2 factories running to make sure we can support the delivery demand. Actually, starting from the third quarter, we have already kicked off the tooling and the preparations for the mass production of the ET5 at large scale in the Factory 2 in the New Park. At the beginning, we believe the production capacity of the Factory 2 is relatively lower compared with the Factory 1 because the Factory 2 will only need to manufacture 1 product, that is ET5. So we believe in the fourth quarter, we're going to break records every month, and we are confident to achieve the record-breaking target for the fourth quarter, and we have been making active preparations to meet this target as well.
第二个问题，当然大家也知道，我们这个很早就不去发布这个订单的数字啊，因为这个确实每家公司关于订单的定义都不是特别的一样。但我们能说的是不管是ET7还是ES7，确实这个我们订单还是非常充足的啊，特别是 ES7 最近的表现是超过我们自己的预期的。当然 ET5 毫无疑问要等比较长的时间。那总体上来讲我们近期的问题确实还主要是这个供应链和这个供应链端的一个产能的问题啊。我们现在整车的产能也不是问题了，主要还是供应链端的一些产能的问题。那总体上来讲的话，需求的话，我们现在还是非常有信心的啊。
Actually, we haven't disclosed. Yes, regarding the specific order information, we believe we haven't disclosed this information for a long time because different companies have different definitions and understandings regarding the orders. But what I can say now is we have a sufficient order backlog regarding the ES7 and the ET7. Actually, for the ES7, we believe the order performance is actually much better than our expectation. For the ET5, the waiting time is much longer. Recently, we believe the bottleneck or the constraint is not about the demand, it is mainly about the production capacity of the supply chain. Of course, for our own production capacity, so we believe we have already made sufficient preparations, but the main constraint will be in the supply chain.
For the third question about the okay, William. Yeah. For the third question about the gross profit margin of Q3 second half year, sure. The company has taken multiple measures to improve our gross margin profits, and we raised the selling prices of certain vehicle models like ES8, ES6, ET6, and ET7. And most of the positive impact will be reflected in Q3. Most of ES7 starting to be delivered in Q3 are first edition with higher price and margins. So we expect a slight increase of vehicle margin in Q3, but in short term, we are still facing great uncertainty and challenges regarding the battery cost, which will have a negative impact to our gross margin. Thank you, Bing.
好，谢谢王斌。
Thank you.
The next question comes from Jeff Chung from Citi. Please go ahead.
管理层好啊，我是华西的 Jeff 啊，就还是想问一下产能，就是简单来说ET5今年12月的单月产能我们觉得可以到达什么水平？然后除此之外，就是说10月、11月、12月，你觉得 ET5是一个线性还是非线性的爬坡啊？首先这是关于 ET5的这个小问题，然后第二就是说还是想具体问的细一点，关于这个产能的这个爬坡啊，因为我们给了这个3万多的3季度的指引，就是在最好的情况下，意味着9月份的环比是15个点的环比，对吧？然后那如果要达到全年15万台的话呢，就是说10月、11月、12月每个月都要30个点的环比啊。就我想问，就是说除了 ET5之外，在我们这个综合的这个产能下，我们是应该这么拍吗？还是就是说可能这个10月、11月会要温柔一点，这个可能就在10来个点左右，然后12月就是比较是这个产能扩张会很快，就是想问一下这个节奏啊，这是我第一个问题。So my first question is about the ET5 production capacity. How many ET5 we can produce in December, and what is the pace on ET5's ramp up from October to December? This is the first question, and the second question is about the overall production ramp up from September to December. So our third quarter guidance implied the September run rate should be accelerated by 15% month on month. So in order to meet our full year's target, the October to December month on month run rate has to be at least a 30% month on month every month. So should we expect a straight line ramp up or accelerating pace? That's December, November's portion could be more critical rather compared to October. Thank you.
好，谢谢 Jeff。这个当然大家都是专家了，这个产能的爬坡，它确实是有一个那个爬升的过程啊，特别是新产品的这个上市。 那当然前面会少一些，然后逐步的会加速到一个这个稳定的一个水平啊。那我们这个从 ET5 来讲的话，我们认为12月份单月交付过万，从我们来讲，我们各方面的准备工作都是非常充分的啊。那我们内部的目标肯定是比1万这个数字还是要高的，单独到12月份去看的话，那当然这个后边10月份、11月份、12月份的话，我们肯定还是会这个前面我也讲了，每个月都会打破记录，那也就意味着它还是一个这个逐月上涨的一个关系啊。这个12月份当然毫无疑问是最高峰啊，但是我们10月份的话，那不管是我们 ET7还是 ES7的产能的情况，这个供应链产能的情况，我们认为也会大大的缓解。那 ET5 的话呢，爬坡这个开始爬坡啊，那所以后边3个月的话呢，肯定是一个月比一个月高的啊。这个总体上来讲，我们当然很难去预测，因为大家也都非常清楚，现在这个整个的这个各方面的限制因素都非常的多，有很多不属于我们公司能控制的事情。但我想强调的是，过去几年啊，我们确实整个都面临的是这么一个情况，我们也大概清楚在这样一个情况下，我们怎么样去这个去能够去有更多的产出。所以总体来讲，我们对于4季度的产能的情况，特别是供应链产能的情况，我们还是有一定的这个可见度的，所以信心度还是有的。好
，Thank you, Jeff, for your yes. Actually, I think for the production capacity ramp up, everyone understands this will need some time and there's a process, especially when it comes to new product production ramp up. At the beginning, it will start at a relatively low volume and then it can accelerate to a stable level. We have already made sufficient preparations for the mass production of the ET5. And we believe the ET5 will have the opportunity to surpass 10,000 units in 1 month. If we look at December, of course, our internal target for ET5 should be higher than this. On November and December, we believe we are going to break the delivery record month over month. Especially, we are going to see the peak at December. Previously, I have also mentioned in October the supply chain bottleneck will be resolved for the ES7 and the ET7, and around that time we will also ramp up the production of the ET5. So it means that we're going to see the delivery volume to gradually ramp up. But at this moment, we cannot predict with certainty because there are many factors outside of our control. But in the past few years, we have experienced many challenges and extreme situations. In the past, we have accumulated lots of experiences, so our team knows how to handle those challenges and ramp up our productions amid those challenges. We believe in the fourth quarter, of course, we're going to experience many pressure in terms of the supply chain and the production, but we're confident to make sure we can meet the target we set for ourselves.
谢谢李总，我还追问一个小问题啊，就是我想追问一个小问题，就是如果12月是1万台的话，那因为2天之后就锁单了嘛。那可不可以就是说我现在订车的话，我基本上明年6月份才能拿到车，这个你可以再评论一下吗？谢谢。So my question is if the production capacity can reach 10,000 units a month. Yeah, okay. 您说吧，李总啊。
那个我们因为锁单，因为有订单的用户，他有各种各样的情况，他有一个锁单的节奏，所以锁单的话，确实是决定这个最后到底什么时候交付。但 anyway， 如果你想找提车的话，就找锁单，这肯定是有好处的。
Of course, for the reservation orders, there are some fluctuations and uncertainties, but for the production order confirmation, this is the starting point for us to make the arrangement of the actual production of the ET5. If you would like to get your ET5 earlier, then of course you should place your orders as soon as possible.
好，谢谢。我今天晚上下一个单。看看2天之后什么时候可以取到车。好，谢谢李总。
谢谢。
The next question comes from Edison Yu from Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking the questions. First one, we noticed that William visited the U.S. last month, and we're wondering what kind of what kind of decisions or perhaps considerations were taken while he was there, perhaps earlier entry into the U.S. And then the second question is, the original plan was to introduce a solid hybrid battery pack, I believe, in the fourth quarter. Is there any updates to this? Is it still on track?
我很快翻译一下，就是第一个问题是我们看到William 上个月去了美国。你们可以分享一下，就是这个 visit 有什么新的消息吗？还有第二个问题是，本来未来想就是交付一个新的电池，在第4季度，这有没有什么 update？ 谢谢。
好，谢谢 Edison。对，那个我们大家也知道，尼尔从一开始就是一个 global startup。我们在这个15年，我们就设立了综合这的硅谷的研发中心。那我们这个因为疫情的原因，好几年这个没到这个美国的办公室了。我们这边还有几百名的同事，所以这个确实是这段时间在这个美国，然后去欧洲的话，我们要去。这个去见见我们的同事了解一下我们同事的工作的情况。当然，美国的市场的准备，我们是很早就在这个思考这件事情我们一直都在进行各方面的一个充分的论证，什么样的一个产品合适，什么样的一些用户体验是这个有竞争力的。应该是什么样的一个商业模式那在过去的5年中我们这个都一直在研究这件事情。从17年开始我们事实上就在研究这件事情。那我们应该说是我们现在越来越清晰了。那我们会按照我们这个比较清晰的这样一个计划，在进行各方面的准备。大家知道，美国市场是一个竞争非常激烈的市场，那它的法规体系，它的这个和这个中国、欧洲也有比较大的一个区别。那我们当然要准备所以我们在这件事情上，我们是长期的思考周密的准备保持耐心但是毫无疑问肯定是离这个越来越近了。当然具体的时间的话呢，我们今天还太早去说但总体来说肯定是越来越近了，离我们进入美国市场。
Thanks, Edison, for your question. NIO is a global startup from day one. Actually, we set up the San Jose R&D Center back in 2015. Because of the COVID-19 situation, I haven't been able to visit our colleagues in the U.S. For several years. We actually have hundreds of colleagues here based in the U.S. and we also have colleagues based in Europe. So this time I would like to visit our colleagues here in the U.S. and then I will also go to Europe to visit our colleagues over there. For the U.S. market entry, we have been making preparations for a long time. We have been thinking about the U.S. market entry strategy back in 2017, and this has been in planning for almost 5 years already. We have been thinking about what kind of a product should be the best product for the U.S. market, what kind of user experience we should provide, and what should be the right business model for the U.S. market. We believe right now we have a much clearer plan regarding the U.S. market entry, and we have been making comprehensive preparations based on our plan and strategy for the U.S. market. U.S. market is quite different from the China market and also the European market. The U.S. market is very competitive, and the regulatory environment is also quite different from China and Europe. We have been making long-term thinking and preparations about the U.S. market entry, and we believe that the right strategy for us is to make comprehensive preparations and be patient. Of course, there isn't much details we can disclose at this moment, but we believe we have a clear strategy for the U.S. market entry, and we just need to be patient for the execution.
第二个问题的话，150电池包，这个我们因为这确实是一个全新的一个技术，这个从能量密度的角度来讲提升非常的多啊，我们的验证肯定是要非常充分的。那我们和我们的这个合作伙伴，这个还在进行各方面的这个准备的工作，生产准备的工作啊。目前的话呢，计划的话呢，确实是有所 delay 啊。我们目前的话呢，从方向上来讲的话，往后要 delay 几个月的时间吧。确实很遗憾，今年的4季度的话呢，我们应该是没法提供这个服务啊。主要我们在评估整个的这个项目的一个进展吧。那但我们大概有几个月的 delay 的时间吧，目前来看的话。
For the 150 kilowatt-hour semi-solid state battery pack, this battery pack offers a very high power density, and we are making comprehensive evaluations of this semi-solid battery pack. We are making preparations for the production of this battery pack together with our partners, but according to our current evaluation, we believe probably we're not going to provide this service to our users in the fourth quarter, and according to the current evaluation, this battery pack will be delayed for several months. Of course, we have been working with our partners to evaluate the progress, and this is the current situation, and we will try to work with our partners to improve the situation.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Paul Gong from UBS. Please go ahead.
谢谢给我问题的机会。就我第一个问题来说的话，就想问一下这个订单的这么一个情况，但我不是说问订单的一个数目，而是就是说我们留意到好像就有些人他下订单并不是他自己要买车，而是希望就是说占一个位排队，然后之后转让给别人，就这样有可能造成就是订单这边比真实的那需求可能来得更强一些。不知道就是说管理层有没有留意到这样的一个问题，是否会担心这样的订单的情况会给我们的一个生产造成一些个误导，我们之后的排产造成一些误导。那然后第二个问题来说的话，可能还是想跟进一下，就是下一步的思考吧。因为第二品牌、第三品牌，不管是阿尔卑斯还是这个萤火虫，就感觉就是现在管理层对这个以后的品牌的一个矩阵，好像有了更多的一些准备和思考，甚至都有一些供应链的一个下订单的锁定的一个那情况呢，就又过去了大约2个季度了，就不知道管理层有没有更多的一些信息可以在这里分享一下。So 2 questions from me. The first one is, have you realized that there might be some orders that has been placed by certain people who is not really intending to get the vehicle, but just to jump the queue and try to sell the order to someone else for profit, which might inflate the order and give me some misleading information for your production plan. and how do you prepare for that? My second question is regarding your secondary and tertiary brands preparation, Outpace and Firefly. We noticed that there are some orders has been entered with some suppliers, especially from the batteries and other components. Is there more color management can share compared to, let's say, two quarters ago?
谢谢 Paul。第一个问题，当这个确实，如果这个需求满足的慢的话呢，会有你刚才说的这种情况啊，就是可能会有一些订单会被转让，但总体上来讲的话，我们对订单转让还是有我们自己的一个相对比较严格的一个规定的啊。那我不认为这是一个普遍的现象吧，那不排除少数的情况啊，很少数的情况，但总体占的比例应该是非常低的啊。因为我们也跟我们这个跟进的这个方式也有关系啊。大家知道，我们如果有预定的话，我们会有 follow 去进行跟进。那总体上来讲，我们认为这种去买来准备就下定准备转让的这种情况，在我们整个订单里面应该是这个比例，这种需求的这种比例应该是比较很低的啊。我不会认为是一个主要的一个情况啊。这第一个问题，你翻译一下。
Thanks for your question. Regarding the first question, of course, if we cannot meet the user demand in a timely manner, then probably some users may transfer their orders to others. But we have a very strict policies regarding the order transfer. So we believe there will be very few cases for the order transfer, and the percentage of order transfer will be quite low. This is probably also because of our follow-up mechanism. If you place a reservation order for now, then our fellow will follow up with you regarding the specific orders, and then this can be converted to the actual production orders. In our current order backlog, we believe that the percentage of users who are only placing the orders to make sure they can transfer the orders to others in the future to make a profit, this percentage should be quite low because of all those different mechanisms we have in place.
那第二个问题，当然我们的针对大众市场的品牌，这个我们以前也交流过了啊，信息交流的比较充分。那这个目前的话，总体的研发的进展都还是按照我们的时间表在进行啊。那当然在这个大众市场品牌方面的话呢，我们因为它会用到我们最新的这个 NT3 的这个整个的智能平台，所以它会跟着我们 NT3 的这个智能平台一起去推向市场。所以这个也是这是我们的一个关于大众市场的这个品牌的一些新的这样的一些进展。当然大家有确实这个有一些媒体，包括可能供应链端，这个大家也在讨论，大家有一些信息吧 information 说我们可能还有一个第三品牌。我们确实在过去的1-2年时间里面，我们认知到2件事情。第一个的话呢，就是如果想实现这个加快从这个油车向这个电车的这个转变的话，我们确实需要去有更多的产品去服务更多的这个更广泛的用户这个更多价格区间的产品去服务更广泛的用户。那么这是我们认知到的一件事情我们也看到了，其实在过去的1年里边中国的这种包括这种入门级的，包括大众市场的这个需求增长的是非常非常的迅速的这个中国的这个电动车的渗透率的增长也是因为这样一个 trend 但另外一方面，我们也看到了一些非常有意思的一些包括商业模式和用户体验创新的一些机会大家应该知道 NIO 比较擅长的是把用户的这个利益、用户的体验和这个技术的创新去进行这个结合。我们看到了这样一些机会我们进行了充分的验证以后，我们认为我们有 机会用一些更创新的，像包括商业模式啊，包括技术方面的创新，去服务更广泛的用户。这是我们的一些现在可以交流的一些思考吧。当然，这个更细节的信息，我们需要在合适时候再去做，跟大家进行更充分的交流啊。谢谢。
For the mass market brand, previously we have already discussed about our plans for the mass market brand. Currently, the R&D progress is on track. Our plan for the mass market products is to follow the schedule and the cadence of our latest technology platform, that is the new technology platform 3.0. We're going to launch the mass market products based on the new technology platform 3.0. Yes, probably from the media and the supply chain, there have been some discussions about the third brand of NIO. Actually, in the past, we have recognized that if we want to accelerate the conversion from the ICE to EV, we will need to provide more products to cater to different users in different segments. And we believe in the past year, we have witnessed tremendous growth in terms of the EV demand at the entry-level market segment, which has also been driving the EV penetration here in the China market. We have realized some interesting opportunities for the business model innovations, and I believe NIO is very good at combining the innovative technologies with the user experience and provide a very innovative experience to our users. We have identified some opportunities for us to make innovative technologies and blend it together with our business models to provide services to the users and provide different kind of products to a wider range of user groups and communities. So at this moment, we cannot disclose much information about this, but what I can say is that we do believe that there are some opportunities for us to explore.
好的，非常感谢 ，Thank you so much.
This concludes our question and answer session. I will now hand the call back to Ms. Eve Tong for closing remarks.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact the NIO's Investor Relations team through the contact information provided on our website. This concludes the conference call. You may now disconnect your line. Thank you.